Now, the need for copper is expected to rise as people continue to try and lower their carbon footprint. The first part of Rio Tinto's underground mining operation is expected to bring up enough copper to supply new demand of...
Demand for copper is surging.
Minerals like copper.
And the rock ends up in the world's largest stone mills, which extract copper to supply Europe's high-tech industries.
It's just very, very positive for copper. Everything electrification is copper intensive, so from electric vehicles to renewable energies.
Why this switch to electric cars might hit a roadblock. As electric vehicle becomes more affordable and dependable, governments are pushing to phase out gas-powered cars. But the bigger issue at hand isn't that. It's copper. But how does that affect the EV industry? So, let's start with the current happening. California plans to sell only new zero-emission vehicles by 2035, and President Biden wants half of all new cars sold to be electric by 2030. But experts say there's a big problem. We don't have enough copper to make it happen.
We don't have enough copper. We just don't have the copper to ensure that we can support the vision of being a greener planet into the future.
M. Stephen Enders, a professor at the Colorado School of Mines with 48 years of mining experience, said that it's almost unrealistic to think that we can get all the materials needed for battery and electric vehicles by 2030 or 2035. He said, we just can't supply the metals quickly enough. Copper is crucial for electric vehicles because it conducts electricity well. A typical EV needs over 132 pounds of copper, while all gas-powered cars only use about 52 pounds. As more cars go electric, the demand for copper is skyrocketing. But the mining industry, which is slow and focused on the long term, can't keep up with this rapid increase. New research suggests that to meet the goals for electric vehicles and green energy, more than twice the amount of copper mined in all of history up to 2018 will be needed for the next 25 years. Cornell University professor Lawrence Cathels and University of Michigan professor Adam Simon wrote in a recent report that it's very unlikely there will be enough new mines to reach 100% EVs by 2035. They mentioned that achieving this goal would need mining at rates never seen before. Since it takes decades to build an average mine, increasing production quickly is impossible. Copper mining is not only time-consuming, but also very expensive, making it hard for new companies or those with less money to enter the market quickly. Enders mentioned that once a discovery is made, it can take about 23 years to start production. He said it takes a long time and costs a lot of money, sometimes as much as $7 or $8 billion to build a mining project. This means that to meet the long-term goals or even get close to expected copper demand, mining companies need to act quickly. Cathels and Simon pointed out that the government need to encourage investment in domestic mining. They also noted that in the United States, environmental regulations and land ownership laws make mining more expensive compared to other countries. The report stressed that copper exploration and mine development should start now. It said that Europe and the United States need to show that responsible mining can be done in their own region. By doing this, they would prove that they see mining as important and are willing to contribute to their share. Car makers are hopeful about new tech that could help with the copper shortage. Some experts suggest using solid-state batteries for electric cars instead of the usual lithium ones. These batteries use less copper and other rare minerals, but it will take a few years before they're common. The report stresses how important copper is for our future. It says mining is essential and needs to be recognized as crucial. The world needs to mine more than twice as much copper as ever been dug up in history to meet the goals of electric vehicles. If the industry doesn't grow quickly, there won't be enough copper to meet the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's goal for EV adoption by 2025. The report says that to electrify all vehicles worldwide, we'd need to open 55% more new copper mines by 2035. Governments need to support this expansion. The study also warns that from 2018 to 2050, we'll need 115% more copper than has ever been dug up before. Because copper is used in many parts of the economy, not just cars, policymakers should think about promoting hybrid cars instead of solely focusing on electric ones. This would help prevent the automotive industry from using up too much copper. Joseph McMoneagle, the Secretary General of the IEF, explained that the current policies for copper mining is unlikely we'll have enough new mines to achieve 100% electric vehicles by 2035. He called it just the first small step towards decarbonation and stressed the need to manage this transition. He suggests that to make the most of the available copper, governments should prioritize electrifying all aspects of the economy. It is crucial for climate policies. McMoneagle also said governments need to encourage and support new copper mine projects, because without them, reaching 100% EV adoption is impossible. So, electric cars need a lot of copper for their batteries. But this could create a problem for countries that are still developing because they also need a bunch of electricity. The report said that if electric car demand shoots up, it could drive the price of copper way up and slow down progress in this area. Making a regular car with an internal combustion engine needs 24 kilograms of copper, but making an electric car, that requires a whopping 60 kilograms. On the other hand, hybrid cars only need 29 kilograms of copper, which isn't a huge jump from regular cars. Now let's talk about hybrids. They're a mix of a regular engine and an electric motor, but you can't plug them in like electric cars. They charge up the batteries using the engine and when you brake, which is pretty neat. Both electric and hybrid cars are pretty similar when it comes to the impact on human health from things like air pollution during manufacturing and disposal, as well as emissions from making fuel or electricity, and what comes out of their tailpipes. It is important for governments everywhere to promote responsible copper mining methods to keep up with demand for this metal. So there are two scenarios for copper supply, one based on past trends and another based on the current projects. The second scenario shows a drop in supply as early as 2026, which is concerning. Several sources argue that mining should be seen as crucial, and it encourages exploration and responsible copper mining. The analysis pointed out some challenges in mining industries faces, like limited land access, not finding enough new mines, and how long it takes for new mines to start production. Governments are also cautious about giving permits for new mines, even when they find big copper deposits. The IEF thinks it's important to talk about how we might not be able to mine materials quickly enough to meet everyone's wants, even if there's plenty of materials to meet everyone's needs. They say having this discussion is crucial for making realistic energy policy. In April, the International Energy Agency released another report saying that we need to make more batteries to reach the climate and energy goals set at the 2023 UN Climate Change Conference. At the COP28 summit, almost 200 countries agreed to triple renewable energy by 2030, double energy efficiency improvements, and move away from fossil fuels. So we need to make supply chains more diverse to ensure energy security. This includes getting and processing the minerals used in batteries. Meanwhile, in California's Bay Area, thieves are targeting EV charging stations, including those belonging to Tesla. Why? Well, it turns out that they were after the copper inside the charging cables. Recently, these thieves cut cable from 9 supercharging stations, leaving Tesla drivers feeling pretty stressed out.
Thieves targeting high-powered Teslas and other EV charging stations and stealing heavy cable for the copper metal inside.
And fixing these stations could end up costing tens of thousands of dollars, as reported by NBC Bay Area. Copper theft is a big problem across the US, costing about $1 billion every year, according to a report from the US Department of Energy. EV manufacturers need to be really careful with how they use copper, from when it's first dug up until it's recycled. One big part of using copper efficiency is making sure it gets recycled and used again in a sustainable way, but dealing with scraps and consumers isn't easy. Right now, only about 53% of coppers from things like gadgets and electronics gets collected for recycling. And globally, only about 40% of coppers gets recycled when those things reach the end of their life. When it comes to recycling batteries, the numbers aren't great either. For lithium-ion batteries, the recycle rate is only about 5%, but there is room for improvement all around. To stop wasting coppers in batteries and electronics, we need to boost up the ways we recycle electronics. This could mean expanding the current methods of finding new ones to get copper back into circulation. Governments are starting to realize how urgent this is. In June, the US Department of Energy announced they're investing a whopping $192 million in new projects and research to help recycle battery and consumer products. There have been some cool discoveries in battery tech that are making copper's use more efficient and open up new ways to make batteries. These batteries can use copper better. This means they can pack in even more energy while using less copper overall. This is awesome because it means they can give you more power for less money. But we still need more research and development to keep improving these batteries. So, share your views in the comment section. Also, hit the like and subscribe button to watch such contents.